Hey everybody, my name is Jared and I am a Master Mason in the state of Mississippi in the United States of America. And today's viewer's question is, what kind of jobs are available within Freemasonry in regards to serving the order? You know, when I first read this question, my initial response or my initial reaction was, you're not in Masonry to make money, don't even ask that question. And that was kind of going to be my response. But it didn't take too much pondering to realize that that was the wrong answer and to think of something a little more useful to offer to you. As it turns out, there are jobs available, actual paying jobs in Freemasonry. And the way the question was asked, I believe that was the question. If you can make a career, a physical monetary career in Freemasonry. And you can, but it might not be as prevalent as you might think it is. So I'm going to give you some examples, but this is certainly not inclusive. I think that there's probably a lot more jobs out there than even I am aware of, because there's certainly a lot more different appendant bodies and things to this effect that are all a part of Freemasonry that I'm not even aware of. So let's start at probably some of the most basic things. Here in the state of Mississippi, the position of the Tyler can be filled by either a member of the lodge, or you can actually have a member from another lodge come and be your Tyler. And in either case, you can compensate the Tyler for his time. The Tyler is supposed to stay outside of the lodge room the entire time. It's a very monotonous duty to have, and either because of the time that he spent doing the job or to compensate him for travel reimbursement, the Tyler can be a paid position in the lodge. So there's one example. Another is the secretary of the lodge, and this is fairly encompassing, I do believe. The secretary of the symbolic lodge or your blue lodge can be paid, as well as the secretary of the Grand Lodge is generally a full-time employee of the Grand Lodge, and I'm aware that at least here locally, what we would call the secretary of the Scottish Rite Valley is a full-time paid position as well. Or perhaps maybe it's more part-time. I'm not that familiar with it. I just know that it is a paid position. I should stay with that. So let's talk a little bit about that. The secretary in our bylaws gets compensated for any money that he spends. So if he's spending money on stationery and postage and things like that, then obviously the lodge reimburses him for anything that's involving lodge business. However, the secretary is probably where the majority of the work outside of the lodge room takes place. The secretary is doing a lot of work for the lodge while not in the lodge. Maybe that's another way to think about it. And so because of that, the lodge can compensate a secretary for its time and pay the secretary. Now, in my lodge, in our bylaws, we have unanimously decided that the Tyler and the secretary would receive no compensation. And so far, every Tyler and secretary has agreed to that and taken the position, accepted the position in agreement with those bylaws. But other lodges may feel that the right thing to do is to pay the secretary for that time, and in other situations, the secretary may feel that it's a volunteer effort and doesn't want to be paid. So the possibility of that being a paid position does exist. Now, for our jurisdiction, I know that the Grand Lodge office, the Grand Secretary works there full time, as well as in our jurisdiction, 2 full-time staff members. And in our case, which you might find interesting, those 2 staff members are not associated with Freemasonry in any way, in the sense of being members in any of the Freemasonic bodies. Okay, And they've done the job for many, many years and do it quite diligently. And they're the most agreeable people I've ever had to deal with. So it's an interesting thing. And I thought that that would be interesting to you to realize that there are people who work for Freemasonry that are not Freemasons. And I thought that was a pretty interesting little tidbit. And again, I mentioned with the Scottish Rite, same thing. The secretary is working in the office during business hours, but also has to take care of duties at any hour of the day, and so the secretary is paid for those times. All right. They also reimburse in our jurisdiction what's called a district deputy grand lecturer. Now that position is called different things depending on what state or other jurisdiction you're in, so let me describe it. These are members who are in small districts. So in the state of Mississippi as a whole, we have multiple small districts throughout the state, and we in the state of Mississippi have what's called a grand lecturer. The grand lecturer is responsible for making sure that the ceremony or ritual work is being done properly and that we're teaching it properly. And since that one man could find it quite difficult to get around to over 230 lodges in a year, he has district deputy grand lecturers who go around to their assigned lodges and do that work for him and report back. And the grand lecturer does travel around the state. Again, it's just he can't get to every lodge in 1 year. So for their travel, district deputy grand lecturers are reimbursed for that. So it's not a full-time position, so to speak. It's really just paying for your gas and a little bit of your time. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that there are many other Masonic bodies, so there are probably things that people are being paid for that I'm not talking about. I would step on a limb and presume that in the shrine that they too have a full-time secretary and are paying him for his time, and there may be other bodies as well that are equally busy enough to need one to be a full-time staff member. You also have things that are a little more outside of your local jurisdiction, perhaps. So for example, one thing that comes to my mind is the House of the Temple for the Scottish Rite in Washington, D.C., which is staffed by many Scottish Rite Masons and many staff members. So there's going to be places like that as well, historic sites or actual working buildings that have staff members, probably down to having tour guides for those locations, all the way up to having secretaries and people running the office. So lots of things there. There's also some ancillary things that you might not think about. It's not necessarily a job, but a way that you could have your own career based on Freemasonry. So for example, if you mind yourself and realize to be careful in what you're doing, of course you could write books on the subject matter and become a published author of Freemasonry, and you could do YouTube videos. I get a few dollars a month for doing these YouTube videos. Those little ads you see at the beginning are something that YouTube chooses what goes there, and if you view them, then get a couple dollars for every 1,000 views that there are. So it's not anything, at least not at the level my YouTube channel is, that's going to replace an income and become a full-time job, but it's a way to learn to earn a little bit of extra money. So those were the things that I thought of that are ways that you could have a career in Freemasonry. If you have thought of others or want to point out some things that I may have overlooked, please leave them down in the comments below. I am confident that there are numerous positions and things that I did not think about, and I apologize if that insults anybody that I did not think of their position. It's just a lacking on my part, not any meant disgrace to your title and position. If you have any other questions related to this or any other topic on Freemasonry, please leave that down in the description below, and I will do my best to get it scheduled and answer it for you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.